Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay. I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari.
I am Tyler, part-time seller, Poshmark, eBay, Mercari.
Did you forget?
No.
Kind of. Okay, so for today's video, we're actually going to be doing something that you guys kind of sort of requested. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I have that link down below. But I had asked you guys basically what item you had picked up for brand only that ended up just sitting and you were surprised. And a common answer I got was Anthropologie. And I had said, based on that answer, I was kind of surprised based on my experience with Anthropologie, and I felt like maybe I should do a video about it. And everybody messaged me saying, please do a video on Anthropologie. I don't know what to pick up. I don't know like what I'm doing wrong. So we have compiled numbers based on our personal experience. It's going to be different for everybody based on where you go, what you have access to, all that kind of stuff. So everything is taken with a grain of salt, but I thought it would be fun to show you our numbers and what we're doing and what we're doing well with, what we're not doing well with, all of that.
So yeah, I'm the numbers person, so...
And I'm the Excel person, so this was a team effort.
It was definitely a team effort. You definitely helped with sorting and...
Sorting, thanks for making me sound so small.
No, you handled all of the logistics of getting to the raw data.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you noticing me. He did all of the numbers and also wrote all of this hieroglyphics down, so a lot of this will be...
You make fun of my handwriting when yours is an abomination. Your handwriting is considerably worse than mine.
Really?
Yes.
Considerably?
I can read my handwriting. You can't even read your own handwriting half the time.
In my defense to that, I don't actually watch what I'm writing, so that's what happens there. It's not actually my handwriting.
There's a distinct reason why I write the thank you cards. Thank you.
Yes, because you like to feel important. But anyway, since he's being annoying, I want to start this by saying if you enjoy this kind of content, you like reseller content, and you want to see more things about brands that are doing well and all that kind of stuff, all the raw numbers, let us know in the comments down below and make sure you give this video a thumbs up so we know you're enjoying it. I would be curious to see something like this with free people and how that does, because I know a lot of people say free people is dead, but we don't agree. So
no, we do a decent amount of free people turnover, I would feel. Although going into this, I had some ideas of things that I just assumed without any numbers.
Yeah, we actually stopped picking up some brands that we might be picking up again.
Yeah.
And also Free People was my best-selling brand of last year, so I would be curious to dive into those numbers. So if you would be interested in that, let me know in the comments below. Also make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. We post new videos every Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay,
so how do we find Anthropologie? First thing, it's the RN number.
Yes, so if you guys don't know, Anthropologie has the RN number 66170, but they do share that RN number with Free People as well as Urban Outfitters. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
But that is a really good trick to looking it up. Also to note on the tags, since we're talking about tags, is if it says by Anthropologie on the tag, it generally means it is a newer tag, which means you're probably going to do better with it because it's newer, could still be in stores, all that kind of stuff. So if you see those words, new tag, probably a good pickup, at least worth looking up comps.
Yeah. All right, so...
excuse me?
Okay.
Shouldn't we be telling them what type of things to look for when they do find it?
Certainly. All right. So the first test is to make the field test and to look at it and make sure it's a decent quality, because that's
the test across the board with any brand, really,
yes.
Right? You know, and also style. So we have different opinions, but I think you would agree that it's important to take style into account when you're picking up items.
I think that's a good rule across the board for anything that you pick up, is that the price you're going to get for it is determined by how much someone falls in love with it.
Yes. So my personal preference, and has evolved over time, so some of this does not reflect that, but my personal preference is to make sure that it is detailed. So I'm looking for embroidery, I'm looking for, you know, high-low hem, raw hems, distressing, patterns, pom-poms, you know, all the things. I'm looking for something special. I want this item to be something that they can't find anywhere else, and it's, you know, just draws them in.
I mean, that's all well and good, but then sometimes there's the understated look, which is still someone wants that, and they can't find it anywhere else, but it's a little bit more muted than the neon colors that we did in one of the last videos.
That is true. So the classic look does work too, but I will say that if you are questioning the price of something and it's more of an understated plain style, I generally would say leave that behind. But if it's a good price, why not? I mean,
it all depends. It's all relative.
It all depends. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the numbers. We're going to tell you overall numbers, and we're also going to go into brand categories. So let's see how we did.
So your average sale price for all of your sales on Poshmark only, and it's important to note that we are looking at strictly Poshmark numbers.
Yes.
Your average sale price is around $22.50.
And now that is with every brand. This isn't just Anthropologie, everything. So $22.50 right now, as of today, is my average sale price.
Yes. With Anthropologie specifically, with a sample size of at least 2 items sold, your average sale price is $25.10. So
okay.
you're ahead of the curve on average for all of the different Anthropologie SKUs.
Okay. So overall, how much of my sales is made up of Anthropologie?
So your sales, current to date, is about 8% of overall sales.
Wow. Smaller than it feels.
It does feel like we're picking up Anthropologie every day.
Yeah, it does.
But that is not the case. There's a lot of other things out there. Free People is a big one for us.
That is true.
Currently, your inventory is about 10%, or close to 11% Anthropologie brands.
Okay, so
in
a
your
little
closet.
heavy-handed, but not egregious.
Not crazy. So yeah, we're gonna go into the brands that sold highest to lowest, average of 2 sales, or minimum 2 sales. So the first is Jeffrey Campbell.
Okay, so I want to clarify what we're doing here is these are items that we have sold some of,
Yes.
and it's items that it's the average sale price of each item, right? So this isn't
Right.
considering items that we haven't sold any of.
Correct. So
right?
these are all strict sale numbers, average across the total number of items that you've sold.
And now, were there any parameters that you put into?
So
here?
it was minimum 2 sales to get an average price. So some of them have more than 2, some of them are just hit the cutoff.
Right, so you're going to notice that as we go along, there's going to be brands that pop up in other categories that aren't popping in other categories because we did change our parameters a little bit for different things. So for this one, had to have a minimum of 2 sales.
So for Jeffrey Campbell, your average sale price is $40.33.
It's a little skewed.
It is a little skewed. You did have 2 that were new in box from Retail Arbitrage, which inflated the numbers. Having said that, you're still likely towards the top of the pack if you discount those because you had a total of 6.
Yes, and what I will say about Jeffrey Campbell is we generally pick them up in the bins. So to have a $40 average sale price, that's pretty good because normally we're grabbing these for like $2. Obviously, we did do Retail Arbitrage, so
It's hit and miss. It depends on where you go.
right.
Next is Pilcrow and Letterpress.
Which is funny because we have recently stopped picking them up.
I think it's partly because you have a few that have sat, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Average sale price is $29.64, 5 sold.
Okay, not bad.
So not terrible. Next is Holding Horses, which
I have a new love for, just in general lately.
yes.
And
So-
plus, most of my sales are Crush Velvet. So just if you wanted to know what sells good in Holding Horses, Crush Velvet.
So Holding Horses, you have an average price of $29.60,
Not bad.
3 sold.
Okay.
Then it's Sam Edelman, $25.90 average sale price, 10 sold. So that's your standout from a numbers so far. Sleeping on Snow, $23.91, 3 items sold. Then regular just Anthropologie, $22.75, 2 sold.
One of which is probably your least favorite item ever to exist in the history of my items.
It's in the Hall of Fame of ugliest item ever.
I remember picking that up and you were
sold.
like, you will never sell that. It looks like a Muppet. It's not happening.
It looked like someone skinned Elmo. Is the only way I can describe this skirt.
It sold.
It did sell. It was like a weird mohair monstrosity red skirt.
And it was like a vintage Anthropologie label, which
so-
I don't know if vintage is really the word for it, but it was a very old Anthropologie label, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was something.
So next we have, which is surprising to both of us actually, was Moth, $21.30 average price.
Yeah, I actually recently stopped picking up Moth because I felt like it just wasn't selling, but numbers stayed otherwise.
4 items sold, so average price of slightly behind your average sale price on your closet, but not terribly
Not-
out of line.
Yeah.
Then is Maeve, $21.20, 6 items sold, so still a little bit shy of your average closet price, but still worth picking up
Yeah.
if you can get it for a decent price. Next is Angel of the North, $20 even, 2 items sold. And then last is Saturday Sunday, average of $16.33, 3 items sold. I would say that likely we're going to have to reevaluate that a little bit because...
Well, and I will say with Saturday Sunday, just to note, one of the items we did actually kind of like throw away. So there was an item I'd gotten at the bins, and to be completely honest, I didn't feel like ironing it, so it didn't look very good. So that said, I got rid of it for a very low price, and I do think that skews the numbers just a bit. And we do have an item sitting right now that I thought was amazing that hasn't moved. So that's a brand of, we're gonna keep paying attention to it, but we might be careful with what we pick up.
More selective, I think, is the answer. So the next category that we're going to go into is percentages.
Okay.
So we're going to look at the sell-through rate by each offshoot brand.
Right, so what we're looking at right now is the better sold items, right? These
Yes.
are the items that have a sell-through rate of over 50%, not 50%, but over 50%. And they had to have a minimum of 3 items listed or sold, did we do?
Well, it worked out that they had a minimum of 3.
Okay. Okay, so there's a minimum of 3. So just keep this in mind. There's a lot of items that have a 50% sell-through rate, like a lot, but we wanted to do more than 50. So these are the brands that I would suggest looking at because they have more than 50% sell-through rate, and we at least have a few of these
You
items.
had quite a few that were picked up 2 items, sold 1 of them,
Right.
so that we just drew the cutoff as better than that.
Yeah, because, I mean, those brands I don't feel comfortable recommending either way because I haven't had enough experience. But these brands these would be our recommendations.
So the first on the list is Holding Horses. You're 3 for 3, 100% sell-through rate. We did just pick up another item, so that number did just change to 75%.
Well, it has not been listed, though.
But it can't sell instantly, so it would be 75%, which is still well above 50%.
I don't know if it's fair to judge an item before it's been listed. You don't know. It could sell in a minute. We've had voting items do that.
That's fair.
Okay, then. So let's not
But
judge.
We do have another Holding Horses item to post.
We do.
Next is Sleeping on Snow, 3 for 3, 100%.
And they're just beautiful. I don't know if you've seen their sweaters, but they are beautiful.
Next is Sam Edelman. 10 of 13 items picked have sold.
Now, we should caveat Sam Edelman with we are very careful. Sam Edelman is everywhere where we are. I don't know why, but every time we go into a thrift store, we see Sam Edelman. So
Yeah.
we make sure that there is very little to no damage because it's everywhere. So we're going to be picky. And we also do look up every style that we're trying to pick up. We are making sure, booties are really good. They sell really well. But other than that, we are looking at making sure they're not oversaturated and that they're a popular style because there is a lot. So keep that in mind. We probably leave behind far more than we pick up.
I think we pick up probably less than half of the Sams that we see when we're out and about.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Don't pick up every Sam Edelman you see, but I would suggest if you see a Sam Edelman in good condition, absolutely look it up for comps.
Yes. Especially at a good price. Next is Jeffrey Campbell. You have 6 of 8, so you're at 75%.
Now that brand, I am closer to picking up everything I see. That stated, lately I had stopped picking it up thinking that it was not selling because we have 2 items right now sitting, because we said 6 of 8, that were bins finds that are both damaged. And I internalized that as Jeffrey Campbell doesn't sell anymore, which is not fair.
That is not fair. So Sam Edelman's was 77, Jeffrey Campbell 75% sell through. Next is Saturday Sunday. So 3 of 4 items sold, which is 75%.
So you just crapped on Saturday, Sunday, and now we've put it into the category of it's probably a
It
good
does
brand.
sell through reasonably consistently, but at the same time, you're well behind your average sale price by about $6.
Yeah. So, I mean, take that with what you will.
Now that number can be skewed, but it's still...
Right. So, higher sales through rate, but not great average sale price. So
So if you can get it for a few bucks, then it's definitely worth to just churn over.
Right. If it's a bin's fine, grab it.
Next would be Maeve, 6 of 9 at a 66% sell-through.
And that's not bad either.
No, it's not bad. Next is High, 2 of 3, 66%.
And I believe the one that's still sitting is a blazer, which you'll learn later on. Not doing so well on the Anthro side.
Next is Angel of the North, 2 of 3.
I do like Angel of the North. That was my first Anthro item that everybody wanted. I got messages, I got everything for this beautiful sweater.
So 66% sell-through. And then lastly, we have Moth at 4 of 7. So just over at 57.
Yeah, so it's not perfect. I don't know if you guys know Moth, but I would say with Moth, it's one of those brands that don't negate it because it's Moth, but also don't just pick it up because it's Moth. That's one of those, I'm going to put it aside and look it up for comps from now on. I'm not going to just, I have lately been...
Well, I think that's, you have to do that for most things, is you're not just going to buy something without...
Minus one brand. We've got at least one brand in here that I'm going to say, nah, just don't bother. It ain't worth it.
Okay. So next we're going to poor performers.
Yes, we're going to tell you the brands that we would say, from our numbers, we would no longer be picking up.
Or at least very selective.
Yeah, these are the brands that if you do want to pick it up because you think it's amazing, don't leave the store without looking up comps, because even if you think it's nice, it's probably not going to sell very well. So, tell us those brands. And these are worst to best, right? Well, okay, kind of.
We're just...
We can do that. It's only a little bit of a jump.
There's only a few of them. So first is Sparrow.
This is the worst selling Anthro brand that we have. And we have quite a sample size here.
So of 7 items you've picked up, you sold 1 of them.
Yes.
So moral of that story is we're going to have to be considerably more selective.
I mean, and by that he means get rid of Sparrow.
Yeah. Next is
Seychelles.
Dolan, which is 3 for 0.
And this one surprises me because I see people talking about Dolan all the time, and I think the items I picked up from Dolan are pretty cute.
I mean, they're fine. They're not crazy special or detailed, which might be part of the problem, but they're also not...
The sweatshirt tunic thing with the lace bottom and the raw hem neckline? Yes, I remember specifically. Okay, because I like that item.
There's Seychelles. 3 items, you sold 1 of them.
And I will say, with Seychelles, a lot of them have been damaged that we've found. And we've grabbed them because we just want to have Seychelles. And I'm thinking that might not be a good route anymore.
I still have to fix one of the pairs of shoes, though. So.
But it's listed anyway.
Yeah. Then we have, let's see. I think that's it.
Well, and then there are a few other brands that we've picked up that we have not yet sold. So these are brands that we've only gotten 2 items. So we can't say for sure if they're good or bad, but we have had no luck with what we've sold. So we can just list those off these are all 2 items we've purchased and none of them have sold. So decide what you want about that.
So HWA, Bella Doll, Akemi and Kin, Elevenses, Molinet Sours, Nanette Lepore, Knitted Knotted.
Yeah. So at this point, we don't really know anything about those brands. 2 isn't really enough to tell us anything, but it does tell me that I'm gonna pay attention when I'm picking them up.
So yeah, I mean, those are the numbers that we have. Then we have by category.
Yeah, so the last thing I want to do is I know a lot of people say, well, I mean, if you're picking up Anthropologie, what are you paying attention to? What categories and where am I supposed to look in the store to find this stuff? So what we're going to tell you now is the best selling, or from best to worst, we'll try to do it that way, categories of Anthro stuff. What we've sold the most of and what we sold the least of, which I was surprised. I had a category in mind that I thought was the top, and it's not.
So first is shoes at 17 items.
Yeah, which has to be Sam Edelman and Jeffrey Campbell.
Well,
that has
that's
to make
the
up
two
it.
right there. That's the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
Then sweaters at 13.
Which is what I thought was a top category.
It's tied with tops at 13 as well.
Right, and now tops, obviously, you guys know, encompasses short sleeves and long sleeves, but sweaters is my favorite thing to source, so that might be why.
Yeah, she's addicted to sweaters.
Yeah.
Next is dresses at 9 items.
Which, I mean, we do look at dresses an awful lot, so
Yeah.
I kind of would have expected it to be a little higher, but maybe when we do this again next year, that number might be higher because we have skewed that way.
Next is jeans at 5 items.
They're all Pilcrow. I don't actually know. If you guys know, are there other jean brands from Anthropologie? Because I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No, that all of them are Pilcrows.
Yeah. I mean, unless we're just not counting something like AG, I know sometimes maybe can be, I don't know. So let us know because that number might be, I don't know.
Next is jumpsuits at 2 total.
Oh, wow. Ooh, 2, we're really.
And then last, rounding out at 1 is blazers.
Yeah, and that was Cartonaire, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I will say with blazers is we do pick up blazers a lot, but we don't pick up a lot of Anthropologie blazers because blazers in our area are generally $10 to $12. So if you're going to sell it for $20, it's not worth it. So
after the 20%, then you're just basically making a few bucks.
Yeah, so take that one with a grain of salt as well. But the overwhelming thing that tells me is if you are wanting to get into Anthropologie and you don't know where to start, I would suggest looking at the shoe category and focusing on Sam Edelman's and Jeffrey Campbell. That would be where I would start. And then if you want to branch out into clothing, because maybe you're not a shoe seller, you don't like that, sweaters is where I would move to. Because sweaters, you're going to find every single Anthro brand under the sun. And it's very, very easy to figure out which ones are detailed and fancy and whatever. And although he said plain is nice, in the sweater category, that can be true, but you're going to feel the difference, and that special sweater is going to matter. People love kitschy, people love the oversized, all that stuff is really important with sweaters. And you'll see it, and you'll notice it, and you'll pick it out, and you'll be like, yep, that one, that's going to work.
Sleeping on Snow, Angel of the North.
Yeah, Sleeping on Snow, if you find it, pick it up. I mean...
Holding horses for tops.
Right. So, I mean, that said, I hope that this helps you a little bit. I mean, we obviously have to go by the numbers that we can get you because we're in a certain area. I'm sure that from California, they're going to have very different brands than us because we're in Massachusetts. So, that said. But I hope this is helpful for you, and let us know if there are other things that you wanted us to dive into, if there's other things you have questions about when it comes to Anthropologie or other brands that we sell a lot of. I mean... we have some best-selling brands that nobody else sells, so...
We do. We have quite a few random niche things that, for whatever reason, people aren't picking up.
Yeah, so let us know. But let me know if this was helpful for you, if this helps you figure out what you want to do. And also, side note, let me know if you know how to figure this out for yourself. Because I did do a post on Instagram, showing how I do this type of thing on Excel. All of this information, if you want to know for yourself how you're doing with Anthropologie, is for free in your sales report. I did mix my numbers between sales and inventory report, but again, both are free. So if you don't know how to do that and you would be interested in either us doing a video for you or something else, I don't know if you want me to help you, message you, I don't know. But if you'd be interested, let me know because I'd be happy to, do that and explain how we figure these things out. We are not experts, but we get it done, and I find it useful every time we do it.
Well, every time that we've done things, we are surprised by at least one aspect of the numbers.
Yeah, I think it's really important to make sure that you're doing this type of numbers as often as you can because we get biased. We start thinking, that one sweater that I loved, it didn't sell, and it was, this Anthropologie brand, I'm never picking it up again because we get attached to our items and we're happy about what we picked up and we get bummed out when it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
But then you sit down and you look at the numbers and you're like, okay, that was 1 out of 6. That doesn't mean get rid of the brand. It just means that I had a bad experience with one item.
Yeah.
So it's really important to do that so you keep things in perspective and you take emotions out of it because it's a business. We need to do that. So yeah. I guess that's everything. So thank you guys so much and thank you for suggesting this video. I think it was really fun and it helped us a lot. So we appreciate you and we'll be back very soon.
Thank you all for watching.